Okay, everybody. Today our presentation is the 5 pillars of book publishing. It's a holistic systems approach to turning writing into a durable, scalable, and sustainable long-term enterprise. We're going to start with the first pillar, which is production. So what is production? Well, production has everything to do with the actual physical product that you buy. For instance, this book is a product. Any book is a product. Pencils are a product. Pens are a product. Hats are a product. Those are the things that you're going to sell. Okay. You want to create, with the book, you want to create a durable, professional book built to understand the test of time. So what all does that involve? So to create a durable book, you want the production encompasses every technical and creative step required to transform raw ideas into high quality physical or digital assets. For instance, the first stage of this production is writing and editing, which it sounds like one, it's a real quick thing, but really we know better. It can take as little as, well, I've written 2 books in a single month and edited them. And, or it can take up to years, it depends on the book and the author as well. The second stage is the formatting and layout. That has to do with getting in with your publisher and publishing your book. Okay. And then there's the restoration in your covers. Okay. So you want to polish your visual assets and structural integrity. This isn't just the book cover, but it can also include your content for marketing content. And then the last one is metadata and distribution. Okay, it's all about establishing your correct ISBNs, your categories, keywords, and distribution files. And that leads us to the second pillar. A lot of the things that are in that first pillar kind of bleed into the marketing aspect. For instance, your cover is a marketing tool. Your blurb is a marketing tool. Your your description on Amazon is a marketing tool. The look at early thing. A sneak peek. That's also a marketing tool. Let's say you put up a first chapter to your book on a on your website. That also is a marketing tool. Okay, so what this does is it creates the discoverability and the pathways of connecting your readers to your books. That's what the whole thing about marketing is. It's not about relentless self-promotion. It's about helping ideal readers discover your work through established organic pathways like optimized websites, editorial reviews, vibrant reader communities, and podcast interviews. It's all that as well. Okay, so that moves you into sales. Once you have your ideal reader and your book put together, there's the aspect of sales. And sales is streamlining the purchase transaction without confusing it with marketing. The sales is like the Amazon sales page, where you click to pay. That's sales. Telling them where to send the book, that's sales. That's part of the sales process. Telling them where, telling them, what to pay is part of the sales process. Getting the person's card, that's the sales process as well. So basically what you're looking at is frictionless sales transactions. The easier it is for people to pay, the less likely they are to back down on buying your book. Okay. So there's a difference between marketing and sales. Okay. Marketing builds the reader's interest and trust, while sales makes that transaction itself as simple as humanly possible. Like I said, you want seamless platforms, you want frictionless checkouts like Amazon has or Apple Books has. Sales also involves direct to reader sales. For instance, if you have a website and you have your own bookstore, okay, you want to make it as easy as possible. And you want to do a clear call to action, and you want to eliminate as many unnecessary steps between the decision and the purchase. Once they've decided, you want to be able to have them to click on your sales page. For instance, if I were to have a chapter of my book, okay, on a website, which I do, on that same page at the very bottom, you want to have it so that they can click on it and go right to the sales page. They don't have to go, looking it up. You can make it as easy as possible. You want 100% frictionless conversion. Okay, pillar 4 is finance, maintaining financial discipline and rigorous return on investment tracking across all investments. When you buy books to sell, those are investments. Paying for covers, that's an investment. Setting up at a live event, that often involves investment. So what you want to do, you want to have disciplined financial control over your writing business. You want to watch recurring costs. Keep your recurring costs down. Those subscriptions we often get. You want to avoid collecting unnecessary subscription tools or promotional services. You want to audit monthly tools regularly to verify they actively earn their place in your budget. For instance, there's a lot of marketing agencies out there that, they cost more than they actually return on their investment. So that you might want to just go ahead and, delete them as soon as you can. Your test your expenses and return on investment. Okay. Before adopting new tools or services, rigorously see whether the expense is generally required, and so you'll reduce the need for the cost, and it'll directly increase profitable sales results. I was talking to a lady the other day on our community, and she was talking about needing information about, should she pay over $1,000 for copyright protections? And it's like, you don't have to do that. You can, and there's a lot of reasons not to. And we're going to go more into that next week during our during this hour here, because I think it's really important that we realize those extra costs aren't necessary. They're just a way to line the pockets of other companies rather than protecting your investment. Okay, so operations. This is the last pillar, and it's about building repeatable protocols and AI-assisted workflows so that you never start from scratch. There's a lot of different aspects to the various GPTs that are out there. Things like Claude and Chat GBT and Gemini and Copilot, is it Copilot? Anyway, I think it's Copilot on what they call it on Microsoft. They have their anyway. You want to make sure that find out what works for you, because different tools work for different people, and you can get a bunch of different free ones to try out, but try to limit the number you've got, because it can get really confusing after a while if you have a little bit of everybody. Okay, so your workflows. Your operations, again, is your background that keeps the entire publishing business scalable without burning out the author. Okay, you use reusable protocols, standard operating procedures for book launches and formatting. You want to use custom GPTs and AI, harnessing AI tools for research, formatting assistance, and content repurposing. Like I said, there's just so many different tools that you can use, and try to keep the same ones all the time, and so that you can just get them done. And you don't have to worry about the odds and ends. We're not talking about using AI to write your book for you. We're talking about other aspects of using those, and automate your workflows. For instance, if you have if you need an accounting software, that makes it easier so that you can keep track of your money, get one of those. One of them that's really good, that's free, is Wave. It works really well. Eliminate repetitive tasks so the work isn't reinvented with every release. Again, with your book, you want to set up your book so that you know exactly where you are in the process, whether it's the marketing process or the publishing process or the book writing process. You want to keep, it's a good idea to keep tasks lists, checklists. That's an easy automated workflow that you can use. And you want to integrate all these together. The operations does all this stuff. Okay, it helps with your production. Your high quality production feeds consistent marketing assets and reader trust. Okay, and that feeds into the marketing, which you have targeted marketing feeds frictionless sales conversions. And then the finance and ops, the finance tells you what works. The operations keeps that marketing or the machinery manageable. The everything that is working together so that you have what you need. So what these 5 pillars do is they build your author engine. When all 5 pillars support one another, publishing stops feeling like 5 separate full-time jobs and becomes a sustainable, thriving enterprise. And when you do this stuff, and when you set this up right, okay, what you're going to end up doing, excuse me, is you're going to be able to set up SOPs. So if you need somebody to help you with a certain aspect, you can just, quickly go over and find somebody say on a work site and look for somebody specifically to do that job. You don't have to, and you'll have it set up so that you can do that job with them. Okay,